A federal judge has temporarily blocked the deployment of National Guard troops from around the country to here in Portland. We'll give you the updates on what you need to know.
Hands up! If you reach for a weapon, you could be shot!
Also this hour, a look at newly released body cam footage that shows Portland police and what led up to them shooting someone at a Southeast Portland gas station. We're also talking running this morning. New runners, experienced runners, old runners, young runners, all of them coming out over the weekend for the Portland Marathon. Those stories and others coming up here in the 6 o'clock hour of Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us on this Monday morning. I'm Drew Carney. China Green has the day off, but these guys are ready to rock and roll. Chris McGinnis and Rod Hill. Chris, we're going to start with you because I know you have a traffic alert.
Yeah, I want to pick it up on the freeway, guys, real quick. We'll zoom into Interstate 84. It looks like Portland Fire Rescue just now getting up to this fire, this brush fire that's popped up east of the I-84 82nd Avenue exit ramp. So maybe some sort of a warming fire here or something like that. Right now the fire is bigger now than it looked a few minutes ago. So Portland Fire and Rescue on the scene. Hopefully they'll get that taken care of pretty soon. The rest of our freeway drive is in pretty good shape, so no other major issues out there just yet, but Rod, we'll keep you posted.
Well, we are waking up to a clear sky, and it is a cool morning, generally in the 40s. Here's a look from our Wells Fargo camera. It's really nice out. We've had the full harvest moon. It's pretty much full today, be full tonight. Overhead, and then of course we got the perfectly clear skies, awaiting about another hour or so for the sun to pop up, but you can see it's blue and you can see the flag moving a little bit with an east wind down along the river this morning. 50 degrees, one of the warmer spots out at PDX. There is the moon I mentioned setting in the west over the West Hills. Again, that's the PDX temp. Most of you are in the 40s. This is going to be a gorgeous day. If you typically don't get the east wind, you'll have light winds today. 62 at noon, 73 at 2 o'clock, all the way up to about 76 degrees. Yesterday it was 74. Certainly bonus weather this time of the year. That's your update for now. Here's Drew.
All right, thank you, Rod. Let's get to our top story here at 6 o'clock. We continue to follow the Trump administration's attempts to deploy the National Guard to Portland. Last night, a federal judge blocked the deployment of Guard members from any state to the city. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live from the ICE facility near the south waterfront. So Thomas, it was a busy weekend there, also a busy weekend in the courts. What's the latest?
Yeah, Drew. Well, Judge Karen Emmerget granted a motion for a second temporary restriction of those deployment of National Guard troops from California and Texas to Portland. This comes after on Saturday, she also granted a motion for a temporary restraining order of Oregon National Guard troops being used for the same reason. We do know that about 100 California Guard troops had already arrived to Camp Withicum in Happy Valley. Another 99 were on their way to Oregon yesterday.
What was unlawful yesterday is unlawful today. What was unlawful with the Oregon National Guard is unlawful with the California National Guard.
As California National Guard troops assembled in Oregon, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced plans to mobilize Texas National Guard troops to Oregon and Illinois. President Trump also doubled down on his claims about the Rose City.
The politicians are afraid for their lives. That's the only reason that they say, like, there's nothing happening. And you've seen it. The place is burning down and they pretend like there's nothing happening.
In an emergency hearing Sunday night, Judge Emmerget, who was appointed by Trump, asked how the move to send in the National Guard from California and Texas wasn't an attempt to circumvent her restraining order issued Saturday. She then issued that restraining order blocking the National Guard deployment of any troops from any state to here in Portland.
Thomas, we've heard from a lot of people here, including the judge and President Trump, but what about local leaders? What are our city leaders saying about all this?
Well, look, for weeks now, Mayor Keith Wilson here in Portland has said that the federalization of National Guard troops is not needed here in the Rose City. Here's a little bit more about what he had to say over the weekend.
This is yet another unnecessary and inflammatory attempt by the president to deploy outside troops in Portland where no intervention is warranted.
Now, the Trump administration has filed an appeal for an emergency pause of the decision and says that Judge Emmerget has second-guessed Trump's military judgment. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us there outside the ICE facility. Meanwhile, Portland police say they arrested 2 more people near the facility last night. The first arrest happened around 8 o'clock after someone reported being harassed. The second happened shortly before 10:30 after reports of an assault. Officers responded and said they found a victim with non-life-threatening injuries. There have now been a total of 149 arrests at or near the ICE facility since June. Our news crew working outside the facility last night said they saw federal officers using pepper balls and tear gas on the crowd. The Portland branch of the FBI says they've made 5 felony arrests on Saturday and Sunday nights. During a press conference yesterday, Mayor Wilson said the city is planning to file a civil rights lawsuit against federal police, the Department of Homeland Security, and ICE for their actions at the facility.
Indiscriminate use of impact munitions to disperse an otherwise peaceful crowd. Indiscriminately discharging pepper spray. We saw a sniper on the roof of the ICE facility. This is not what we typically look at in crowd control or peaceful protests. This is an aggressive approach trying to inflame a situation that has otherwise been peaceful.
That was Mayor Wilson speaking there. The mayor also claimed that federal officers are trying to antagonize crowds who are otherwise, in his words, protesting lawfully. Conservative influencer Nick Sorter is scheduled for arraignment this afternoon after he was arrested last week during an ICE facility protest. Sorter was one of 3 people arrested for disorderly conduct last Thursday after Portland police say they saw multiple fights break out. After getting released from jail Friday morning, he took to social media accusing Portland police of corruption and claiming that they're controlled by Antifa. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says she's ordered a full investigation into the Portland Police Department and Sorter's arrest. Portland police responded, making a series of posts on X about the arrest they made last Thursday night, saying in part, quote, "As with all such situations, arrests are based on observed behavior and probable cause, not political affiliation or public profile. Formal charges will be determined by the district's attorney's office. We remain committed to protecting public safety, upholding the rights of all individuals to lawful assemble, and enforcing the law impartially." All right, a break from our news headlines here this morning as we take a live look at downtown Portland from our Wells Fargo Skycam. A look at this camera suggests that Rod Hill is waiting in the wings, just chomping at the bit to give us that Monday forecast.
Let's go. Boy, I hope you can get outside and speaking to you, Drew, and everybody watching, and enjoy part of this glorious day, very much like yesterday, except for probably at the average location, 2 to 3 degrees warmer here in the valley. And yesterday we had some early clouds. It was early stuff. Today we don't have any of that. It's just perfectly clear. You're looking at the harvest moon on the way down out over the Pacific waters. And boy, is that brightening things up. Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City, 46 degrees. The beach, most areas expected to warm up into the 70s today, just like the valley, thanks to the east wind direction that shuts off the cooling impact of the Pacific waters. Here are the temperatures out the door, and for the most part we are in the 40s, what you would expect this time of the year with clear skies, and it's mostly a light wind. Some areas are starting to pick up a 10 to 15 mile per hour wind. Gresham 43, the coolest spots are absolutely clear. There's and calm. There's Camas at 42. Salem 45. Down in the valley, maybe we're picking up a little bit more wind than we are up here in the North Valley around Portland, because look at all the 50s showing up, including Silverton at 56 degrees. Anything from light winds today, if you are east wind blocked where you are, to 5 to 15 gentle breezes to some of the windier spots. Could see winds between 25, 30, and 35 mile per hour east gust today. Here is the temperature map. And look at Tillamook, 75, about the same as Portland, 76. Salem and Albany, Eugene, upper 70s. A beautiful day, but not as warm out east, but temperatures in the 60s. Here's the 7-day. So today, 76. Tomorrow, about the same. Now, tomorrow, east winds breezy in the morning in the typical spots, but later in the day, those east winds start to fade. By Wednesday, we're into a cooler west breeze, but we're still dry and really nice, 67. And then Thursday's day 1 of what looks to be at least 4 in a row of getting some rain at times in the forecast. Here is Chris McGinnis.
Rod, thanks for that. I want to pick it back up on the Banfield. We showed you this a couple of minutes ago, a fire on the side of the freeway, Interstate 84 eastbound out near 82nd Avenue. We'll give you a little different vantage point here. Photojournalist Chad DeHart's looking down on the scene. It looks like Portland Fire and Rescue have gotten in there and gotten that thing pretty well taken care of. So no lanes blocked at this point. That fire is out. So good news there. And the rest of our freeway drive, Drew, it's getting busier, but so far I don't have any other major trouble on the freeways just yet.
All right, thank you, Chris.